warm welcome to TV Africa News and thank you for always joining us. This is Africa Today. My name is Najuma Lima, but first are the headlines. Modeste Lukwebo, President of DRC Senate in Uganda for 3-day visit. Kayunga by-election loss leaves Noob in tailspin. Mass anti-coup protests hit Sudan, marking 3 years of protests. In sports, 5 stars at Seta United among qualified clubs to Uganda Cup round of 64. A warm welcome once again. Now the news in detail. Modeste Bahati Lukwebo, the President of the Senate of the Democratic Republic of Congo, has arrived in Uganda for a 3-day visit. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni will meet Lukwebo at State House in Entebbe to discuss ways of strengthening and consolidating bilateral relations for the mutual benefit for both Uganda and the Democratic Republic of Congo. We have more. The President of the DRC Senate was on Sunday received by a delegation of government officials from both countries led by Harriet Ntabazi, the Minister of State for Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, Professor Ephraim Kamuntu, a Special Presidential Advisor, James Mbahimba, the outgoing Uganda's ambassador to the DRC, Jean-Pierre Masala, the acting ambassador of the DRC to Uganda, Dr. Edith Namutabi, Councillor the Ugandan Embassy in Kinshasa, Stephen Kaboyo, Chairman, Sino Uganda, and other members of the business community. Lukwebo will also meet the Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Olanya, and will later visit Nshara Industrial Park, as well as officiate at the opening of the Zanga Beef Factory in Barada. The main purpose of this visit is to further bolster the excellent cordial bilateral relations between the Republic of Uganda and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Uganda and the DRC have enjoyed excellent and cordial bilateral relations, reflecting a history of close political, economic and social-cultural ties and common mutual interests. These interests are pursued under the Joint Permanent Commission, which is framework for bilateral cooperation and was established in 1986. Uganda and DRC recently signed an agreement that gave green light to joint offensives against the Allied Democratic Forces in an operation code named Shujaa, a Kiswahili word for brave. Uganda also recently agreed to construct several kilometers of roads inside DRC to ease trade between the two countries. The just concluded Kayunga LC5 by-election, where NRM's Andrew Muwonge triumphed over NUPU's Harriet Nakwede, has left Robert Kyagulanyi aka Bobi Wine and his party NUP in a tailspin. We have more with Kachanchu.
Although the National Unity Platform has contested the outcome, claiming its candidate won with a margin of over 15,000 votes, the party's loss in an area where Kyagulanyi comfortably defeated President Museveni has left a bitter taste in the mouth. Had the National Resistance Movement lost, it would have cemented the belief that the National Resistance Movement's support in Uganda has slipped away. There is a possibility of another by-election in Mityana if the Court of Appeal upholds the High Court decision to annul Joyce Bagala's victory as Mityana Woman Member of Parliament. This, some analysts believe, would be the ultimate test of whether the National Resistance Movement is slowly regaining its influence in Uganda, or if the violence-riddled victory in Kayunga was a flash in the pan. Yet some analysts believe that, given the challenges and security interference National Unity Platform faced, not much should be read into the National Resistance Movement's Kayunga victory. On his part, Kyagulanyi posted on Twitter that what happened in Kayunga was just a microcosm of what President Museveni did in January 2021 general elections. Mase Munduru, a program manager governance at Action Aid Uganda, said the violence in the Kayunga by-election could make some people lose interest in the electoral process. The National Resistance Movement Director Information and Publicity Emmanuel Dombo said the National Unity Platform were just bad losers.
Thousands of Sudanese on Sunday took to the streets of the country's capital, Khartoum, marking 3 years of protests that touched off a popular uprising that led to the overthrow of longtime President Omar al-Bashir. Nalugo reports.
Earlier reports suggested that security forces had fired tear gas at the protesters near the Republican Palace in the capital, chanting against the current military chief, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, who led a coup on October 25th. Ammar Abdurrahim, Sudanese protester, stated that any form of coup is rejected, adding that the glorious December Revolution is for the sake of a civil institution and a complete civil authority, not for the sake of individuals. The generals had initially detained civilian leader Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok for weeks under effective house arrest but reinstated him on November 21st. The move, however, separated many of Hamdok's pro-democracy supporters, who dismissed it as providing a court of legitimacy for Burhan's coup. Hamdok, who has stated that he wants to avoid further bloodshed, warned late Saturday of the country's slide towards the abyss, urging restraint from the protesters. Protest organizers have, however, vowed in a key slogan, no negotiation, no partnership, and no legitimacy. Previous protests against the military takeover have been forcibly dispersed by the security forces. Nationwide, at least 45 people have been killed and scores more wounded, according to the Independent Doctors Committee. On Sunday, authorities shut off bridges linking the capital Khartoum with its twin city Omdurman, but large crowds still gathered.
Let's take a quick break. We will be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching TV Africa News, the right to know. In the absence of an efficient waste recycling system in Tunisia, some entrepreneurs have established facilities dedicated to growing tons of plastic waste, which is becoming a burden in the country. This is the case for African Recycling, a company located in Makila, near the capital Tunis, where waste is weighed, sorted, and cut into fine chips for industrial use. Collected by hand in the streets and bins of the city by babachas, informal collectors, the waste processed by the company each year amounts to 6,000 tons. Tarek Masmoudi, owner of the company African Recycling, explained that the state is paying about 150 to 200 dinars per ton to landfill this waste and to transport it. According to Masmoudi, waste management in the country reflects a lack of strategy and vision, as does the political situation in the country since the 2011 revolution. After a decade of political paralysis since Tunisia's 2011 revolution, Masmoudi said that the waste management system reflects a lack of strategy and vision. Companies like his are prevented from collecting waste directly because the municipalities own the waste. Walim Maidachi, a waste management expert, said that if you want to have solutions, you have to have a fixed strategy and you can't change it. Tunisia produces 2.6 million tons of waste every year. Of the 85% of waste that ends up in formal and informal landfills, only 4 to 7% is recycled. A company like African Recycling sorts the waste and indirectly provides work for about 200 people. Moving on, hundreds of Senegalese on Friday took to the streets of the country's capital, Dakar, in a protest accusing the government of subjecting opposition figures to lengthy detentions. Many of the protesters directed their anger at President Macky Sall, who has been accused of interfering in judicial cases to suit his political interest.
Expressing his grievances, a member of the Associations of Advertising Agencies, Papekle Dwarguye, who also joined the protests, recounted how the government destroyed their working materials. The protesters called for the release of a leading member of the activist group, Yen Amari Mbisaniseki, who was arrested on visa trafficking charges. Senegal has long been considered a bastion of democracy in Africa, a regional leader on diplomacy issues in West Africa. When Sall was first elected in 2012, he defeated the then President Abdoulaye Wade, who had sparked a big demonstrations by seeking a third term in office. Since Sall's re-election in 2019, though, he has faced growing criticism, particularly from those who fear that he too may seek to run for president again. Early this year, there were protests across Senegal after an opposition politician, Ousmane Sonko, was accused of rape. Sonko's supporters maintained the charges were brought to disrupt his future political ambitions after he placed third in the last elections.
Moving on, the act of donating breast milk can save a baby's life. South Africa has close to 30 human milk banks, mostly in public health facilities. The South African Breast Milk Reserve said that they feed 6,000 babies annually. We have more on this report.
According to the executive director of South African Breast Milk Reserve, Stasha Jordan, breast milk is the safest optimal food for the premature and full-term infant population. The Human Milk Bank says donation levels in South Africa fluctuate. Stasha Jordan said that one of the challenges in running a tissue bank like this one is funding. The South African Breast Milk Reserve said that they need $150 to run the facility comfortably. The bank added that what they really need is probably $150,000 to be able to contain the operations of the organization to continue growing. The South African Breast Milk Reserve added that they were also able to reach 6,000 banks compared to the previous year, which was 3,200 babies. This made a great impact on the health system at large as it allowed public facilities, especially because it was targeting hospitals which are not on service level agreement with them. In South Africa, a donor mom can give up to 4 liters of breast milk. The bank said that cost of screening a breast milk donor averages around $15.
Let's once again take a quick break. We will be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching TV Africa News, the right to know. In our business news today, the third Turkey-Africa Partnership Summit is ongoing in Istanbul under the auspices of Presidency of the Turkish Republic. The two-day summit comes first on the heels of a top-level business forum in October that focused on investment and trade.
The gathering will ensure that the strategic ties between Turkey and African countries are carried forward to a new stage. Meeting on the summit is on the theme Joint Development and Enhanced Cooperation for Prosperity. Turkey's Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu said Turkey wants to assist Africa in achieving their success and working to the future together. Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan held a series of meetings with leaders and senior officials on the sidelines of the event. The Africa-Turkey partnership was formalized in the 2008 Istanbul summit, during which two outcome documents were adopted, namely the Istanbul Declaration and the Framework for Cooperation. Felix Tshisekedi, current chair of the African Union, Senegal's Macky Sall, Ghana's Nana Akufo-Addo, representing ECOWAS, Rwanda's Paul Kagame, Zimbabwe's Emmerson Mnangagwa, and Muhammad Buhari of Nigeria were present at the summit. Leaders and top ministers from 39 countries, including 13 presidents, witnessed the summit, which will climax on Saturday, December 18th.
In our health news today, undocumented migrants living in South Africa will now have the chance to get vaccinated against COVID-19. This is after some undocumented foreigners expressed concern over being denied access to the COVID-19 vaccination.
The Gauteng Department of Health, along with the private sector, partnered to open various pop-up vaccination sites in Johannesburg. Dr. Sayuri Pillay from the University of Witwatersrand said that the program was initiated by Professor Basu and the University of Pretoria, with various teams that are involved, including Johannesburg District Office, ANOVA, MSF, and Wits Referral Hospital, which is a such health institute, to help with the registration and vaccination of undocumented foreign nationals. The vaccination site at Hillbrow Community Health Center had more 30 undocumented foreign nationals when it opened on Tuesday. One undocumented migrant who has asked to be kept anonymous said that he is relieved that he finally received the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. The pop-up vaccination site of Hillbrow Community Health Center will be open for a period of 6 months for undocumented migrants. Thereafter, the government will move all vaccinations to a permanent site, and all doses administered to foreign nationals have been taken from the national vaccine batch.
In our sports news today, 5 Stars defender Stephen Bukina Gita scored the all-important goal as second-half penalty after foul in the forbidden area. Kachanchi reports.
Entebbe-based 5 Stars Football Club, a fresh entity in club football, attained a round of 64 berth in the 2021-2022 Stanbic Uganda Cup. This followed a hard-fought 1-0 win over visiting Free Stars from Mukono at the Works Playground in the heart of Entebbe Municipality. 5 Stars head coach Hussein Mulawa, a former goalkeeper, hailed the teamwork character from all his players, technical staff, administration and fans. Elsewhere, Seta United also made the round of 64 berth with a 2-0 win on the road over Nakifuma United at Kalaji Playground. A goal in each half from Alan Wanyama and Derek Muyanja inspired Seta United to victory. Wanyama opened the scoring in the 19th minute before Muyanja wrapped the scoring business with 18 minutes to full time. Kajansi United were the biggest winners on the day, outsmarting Munyagwa 5-1 at the Gayaza Church Playground during the one-sided duel. A former Nyamutobora and Entebbe forward John Wesley Neymar Chisache netted a brace. Left winger Farouk Musisi, formerly at Atland Katale and Vipers, Marvin Nyanzi and Joel Serunjogi scored for the Kajansi United. At the Mitiana Saza Playground, Chinda Boys humbled Masaka City 3-1 and Lugazi Municipality edged Kiwanga United 1-0 at the Uganda Clays Playground in Kajansi. After the third round, 6 clubs qualified to the round of 64 stage, awaiting draws with the rest of the 60 clubs in each region, Uganda Premier League and FUFA Big League. 5 Stars, Kajansi United, Lugazi Municipal, Kinda Boys, Seta United and Free Stars progressed to the round of 64 stage.
That was the news. Thank you for always keeping it TV Africa, please.